We talked a little bit about fans for your house. Now we're going to talk about a single fan for your entire home. We're talking about a whole house fan that helps create airflow throughout your entire home. To learn more, we're going to meet up with Eric Kelch from Premier Electrical Services to find out how a whole house fan actually works. Eric, thanks for joining us. Walk us through how a whole house fan works.
All right, Pete, thanks for having me. The way it works is you have a simple light switch, timer, or a thermostat. The dampers will open, and then the fan will start. You want to have doors and windows open downstairs and anywhere in the house. Creates negative pressure, almost a vacuum of pulling air up through the fan. Then what happens in the attic, you create more of a positive pressure where once that pressure is built high enough, now it's going to push all the hot air outside your soffit vents and any other means of escaping. And by doing that, you create a very quick, temperate control of the air inside the house. It really cools quickly.
So an overall whole house fan, we're really talking about, air movement and improving the quality of the air inside our house.
Yes, there are things happen. You get rid of some odors, pet odors, cooking odors, and because you have windows and doors open, that thing just creates that pressure and pulls the air out. It happens quickly and very efficiently.
So I decided I want to put a whole house fan in my home. You come out, take me through the installation process.
Certainly.
What happens?
Contact a general contractor and electrical contractor. Choose a good location for the fan as far as just a nice open area, maybe in a hallway. It can be retrofit, it could be brand new. And yeah, simple sawing of the drywall and finding a good place to put it. You know, building a frame installation for the dampers itself, and then the fan, it just sits up in the attic and it's all supported through the trusses. From an electrical standpoint, we provide some power. It's usually just through an outlet controlled by one of the means I was speaking of, thermostat, timer, just a simple light switch. You fire it up and away it goes.
And location, it's not necessarily an outside wall. It can be, it's inside or anywhere, correct?
Definitely. For the whole house fan, you want to set it up basically inside a wall, mostly a ceiling, inside the house somewhere. There is another means, an attic fan, which works a little different. It just basically focuses on the heat in the attic, where you can vent out either an outside wall or vent through the roof. And that will control it by a little different means. But the whole house fan normally is, very specific to an inner wall or the ceiling, and then just vents out in the attic, creates that pressure and pushes it out through your soffit.
And that's a good point. This is different from just an attic fan. This is the whole house fan.
Correct. The biggest benefits from a whole house fan versus the attic fan, it cools much quicker. Because what you're doing with the attic fan is just kind of moving the air from the attic and out. So you're not creating that big vacuum where you would experience much more positive effect on the temperature in the house, and again with odor and everything.
Let's talk a little about expense in terms of installing a whole house fan.
All right, installation wise, I estimated anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. It just depends on the brand name of the fan you want to go with, size, big or smaller, means of control. You can become very electronically involved with it so that, some of them just have a manual switch. That's probably the simplest way. One of the other big costs are a direct-driven fan versus a belt-driven fan. Of course, a belt-driven fan it's going to have the motor off to the side, and then the fan itself will be attached through a belt and pulley. Those are usually a lot less expensive, but much noisier. The direct drive ones have the motors attached directly to the fan. Again, a little more expense involved, but usually a lot quieter.
So again, really kind of whether the basic simple, you get a little bit more elaborate and how you control it. That's up to the homeowner in terms of that decision.
Yes, sir. There are quite a few options you can decide on.
Eric, is a whole house fan for every house?
Well, I would say it's very advantageous for most in the sense of quality control, but one thing you really got to consider that I've seen is if you have a family who has very strong allergies, it may not be for you. As much as you're pulling that cooler, fresh air inside, you're also pulling a lot of the pollens and allergens in with it. So for a family strong of allergies, it may not be for you.
But again, the homeowner, I put a whole house in, I can improve in terms of my energy bill, right?
Oh, certainly. Mechanically wise, it's a much better means of controlling the temperature in your house versus an air conditioner, simply because these fans use a small sip of electricity. They sip the electricity versus, your air conditioners that on a hot day just guzzle that electricity. Your air conditioner, it uses higher watts of electricity, and it usually runs throughout the day, more constant, whereas your whole house fan, you can run it a few times morning and night, and the effectiveness of it alone creates a more conservative energy approach. It's a considerable difference.
Well, Eric, you've given us a great background on a whole house fan, and it really sounds like overall, in terms of cooling the house and air quality, a great strategy to take a look at. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you.
If you'd like to explore whether a whole house fan might be a good choice for your home, contact a licensed local HVAC professional.